Some stories begin with love. Some begin with danger. But this one begins with a storm and a choice that changed two lives forever. A broke single father, a powerful woman running from a secret. One moment on a dark road that pulled their worlds together. What followed was love, fear, kindness, and a truth neither of them expected. This is He Saved a Stranger in a Storm. He didn't know she owned his house. And the storm was only the beginning. The morning began in a tiny, worn-down home where life had never been easy. Eli Carter, a 37-year-old man with a tired face and a strong heart, woke up on the couch again. It had become his bed for months now. He stretched slowly, his back stiff from another uncomfortable night. Before he could sit up fully, a small body climbed onto him. It was his daughter, Maya. She was 7 years old, full of light and warmth, and the only thing in his life that kept him moving. She curled against him with a sleepy smile, as if she didn't notice the struggle he tried to hide every day. Eli held her close. Their bond was strong, but behind it was the shadow of hardship. On a small table beside the couch lay a stack of unpaid bills. Some were marked overdue. One was an eviction notice. Eli quickly flipped it face down before Maya could see it. He never wanted her to feel fear. He never wanted her to think their life was falling apart. To her, everything still felt normal. To him, every single day was a fight. After breakfast, Eli left the house to work. He did handyman jobs around the neighborhood, fixing pipes, repairing broken wires, tightening loose doors, anything that paid. The work was hard and the pay was small. Some people respected him, others didn't. One client that morning looked at him with doubt and suspicion. The man spoke to him slowly, in a tone people used when they believed someone wasn't worth much. "I'll pay you when I see the work done right," the man said. Eli swallowed the sting. He heard comments like that more times than he cared to remember. Some of it came from race. Some of it came from class. Most of it came from people who didn't know him and didn't bother to care. But he kept working. Maya needed him to stay focused. Later, when Eli came home, he opened a small box he kept hidden under his bed. Inside were old engineering awards, things he earned years ago when he worked at a real company. He once had a future full of promise. But that career had been taken from him after a corporate layoff that was anything but fair. He never talked about it. Not to friends, not to family, not even to Maya. The pain of it still lived in him. He closed the box and pushed it away. It was a reminder of everything he lost, but also everything he refused to let break him. As the day went on, Eli turned on the radio for background noise. A news report came on about a company called Beaumont Global. The voice mentioned rumors of internal problems and possible sabotage against the company. They said the CEO, Ariana Beaumont, was facing pressure inside her own boardroom. They did not show her face. Eli barely paid attention. News like that belonged to another world, one far away from his. By late afternoon, dark clouds rolled in. The wind grew stronger. The sky turned heavy and gray. Rain began to fall in slow drops that soon became sharp and loud. Eli looked out the window. The storm was growing fast. He told Maya it was time for bed. She complained a little, but he tucked her in gently and kissed her cheek. "Good night, Daddy," she whispered. "Good night, baby girl," he said softly. When he closed her door, thunder cracked through the sky. The storm had arrived. And without knowing it, Eli was only hours away from the moment that would change his entire life. The storm grew worse than Eli expected. Rain hit the ground so hard it sounded like stones. Wind pushed against the old truck as he drove home from a late-night job. The roads were flooding fast, and every turn felt dangerous. Eli kept both hands tight on the wheel, hoping the truck would make it through the night. He was tired, cold, and ready to collapse into the couch. But fate had another plan. As he drove along the dark road, something caught his attention. A car was off to the side, crushed against a tree. At first, he thought it was empty. Then he noticed smoke rising from the hood and headlights flickering like they were calling for help. When he looked closer, he saw a hand tapping weakly against the window. Eli's heart jumped. He stopped the truck and ran toward the car. The storm hit him like a wall, but he didn't stop. Someone was trapped inside, and he knew every second mattered. He reached the driver's side and saw a woman slumped over the wheel. Her forehead was bleeding. Her breathing was slow and uneven. She was shaking, barely awake. Without thinking, Eli pulled off his jacket and used it to break the window. The glass shattered. He reached inside, cut the seatbelt with his work knife, and pulled the woman out of the car just as the smoke grew heavier. She leaned against him, weak and confused. Her lips trembled as she tried to speak. "They found me. I have to..." But she couldn't finish. Her voice faded and she passed out in his arms. Eli looked around. The storm was too strong. The roads to the hospital were blocked by fallen branches and deep water. He knew he couldn't get her there in time. He only had one choice. He carried her through the storm and placed her carefully in his truck. Then he turned back toward home, praying the old engine would hold on for one more important night. By the time he reached the house, the woman was barely conscious. Eli lifted her again and carried her inside. He took her to his room, the only real bed in the house, and laid her down gently. The noise woke Maya. She rubbed her eyes and stepped into the doorway, staring at the injured woman. "Daddy, who is she?" Maya asked, scared but curious. Eli gave her a calm look, even though his heart was racing. "He needed help," he said softly. "That's what we do. We help people." Maya nodded slowly. She trusted him, always. Eli checked the woman's breathing. She wasn't awake, but she was stable for now. He covered her with blankets and hoped the storm would pass soon so he could get real help. As the thunder rolled outside and the wind pushed against the walls, Eli sat beside the bed for a long time. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know what danger she might be in. But he knew one thing. Tonight, he had saved a life. The woman drifted deeper into unconsciousness. The house fell quiet except for the storm. And Eli waited, not knowing that everything in his world had just begun to change. Morning came slowly after the long, dangerous night. The storm had passed, but the air still felt heavy. Eli woke up early, planned to check on the injured woman, and then call for help as soon as the roads cleared. But when he walked into the kitchen, he froze. The injured woman I rescued was already awake. She stood calmly in his kitchen wearing my white dress shirt. Her hair was loose, her eyes sharp, and she moved with the confidence of someone used to control. She was making coffee like she belonged there, even though she didn't. Her name, though he didn't know it yet, was Ariana Beaumont. Before Eli could say a word, Maya came into the kitchen. The little girl stopped when she saw Ariana, then smiled wide. To Eli's surprise, Ariana knelt down to Maya's level, her voice softened in a way that seemed rare for her. "Good morning," she said gently. "Your father helped me. I'm very grateful." Maya liked her immediately. Children could sense people's hearts, and something in Ariana's eyes felt safe to her. even if everything else about her seemed expensive and out of place. Eli, however, was not relaxed. He felt uncomfortable and unsure. A wealthy stranger was standing in his kitchen wearing his clothes. It was too close, too strange, too personal. Ariana stood up and looked at Eli with calm confidence. "Thank you for last night," she said. "You saved me." Before he could respond, she reached into her purse. She pulled out a stack of money, clean, crisp bills. She placed them on the table. It was about $2,000. "This is for the trouble," she said simply, "for helping me, and for the shirt." Eli stared at the money. His jaw tightened. "I don't need your money," he said. Ariana raised her eyebrow. Her tone stayed smooth. "It's only fair." Eli shook his head. "Kindness isn't a transaction." Ariana responded just as quickly. "In my world, everything is." Their words were quiet, but the air between them grew tense. It wasn't romantic. Not yet. It was the clash of two lives that had never touched before. Two worlds that shouldn't mix. Two beliefs that stood on opposite sides. As they faced each other, Ariana's luxury phone rang on the counter. The screen lit up with names Eli didn't recognize. Calls from people only seen in business magazines. Board member Roth. Security division. Internal audit. These weren't normal calls. Something serious was happening in her world. But she silenced every one of them without hesitation. Eli watched her. Something about it didn't make sense. Someone like her should be rushing to answer every call. Instead, she ignored them all. Ariana finally sighed, picked up her purse, and moved toward the door. "I should go. My driver's already outside." She paused before stepping out. Her eyes drifted around the small home. Something in her expression softened, just a little, almost like she felt something she didn't expect to feel. She looked back one last time, and for a moment it seemed as if she wanted to say something, but she didn't. Then she stepped outside, closing the door behind her. Eli stood still, unsure of what had just happened. Maya tugged his hand and whispered, "Daddy, I like her." Eli said nothing, but deep inside he knew the truth. This was not the last time he would see Ariana Beaumont. Not by a long shot. 3 days passed after the storm. Eli tried to return to his normal life, even though nothing felt normal anymore. He kept thinking about the woman he rescued, the way she spoke, the way she carried herself, the way she looked at him when she left. He didn't know why she stayed in his mind, but she did. One afternoon while he cooked dinner, the news came on. A reporter spoke with excitement, talking about Beaumont Global and its powerful CEO. Then the camera showed her face. Ariana Beaumont. Maya pointed at the screen, her eyes wide. "Daddy, that's the woman from our house." Eli froze. He stared at the TV. His heart felt tight. He had seen rich people before, but never someone like her. And he had never imagined that the quiet, injured woman he rescued was the Ariana Beaumont, the kind of person whose decisions moved whole companies, whose name belonged on magazine covers, whose life was nothing like his. He turned off the TV. He didn't know what to think. He didn't know if he wanted to. 3 days later, during the afternoon pickup at Maya's school, something unusual happened. Eli was fixing a broken pipe in the teacher's lounge when he heard people whispering outside. When he stepped out, he saw why. A black luxury sedan pulled into the school parking lot. It was the kind of car nobody in his neighborhood drove, the kind that made people stare. Ariana stepped out. Teachers paused, parents murmured. Everyone seemed confused about why someone like her would come here. But Eli knew. She was coming for him. She walked straight toward him with calm steps and a firm expression. Eli crossed his arms and waited, his heart beat slower, harder. When she reached him, she spoke in a cool, even tone.
Eli Carter, we need to talk. He crossed his arms. If it's about the money again, I told you. It's not. Her tone softened just a little. It's different. She took a folded document from her bag and handed it to him. Eli opened it, confused at first, then his eyes widened. It was the ownership file for his rental building. Her signature was on the bottom. I bought the property this morning. The whole building. Eli felt something inside him snap. You bought my home, he asked quietly, without asking me. I wanted to help. No, he cut in. You wanted control. Ariana looked shocked, almost hurt. It was the first time she saw her guard drop. It isn't like that. To you? He replied. My life is just another of your business projects, another thing you can buy and fix. That's not help. That's power. Ariana swallowed hard. Her tone changed. Softer, unsteady. I know what it feels like to have no power. I wasn't born into wealth, Eli. I grew up in foster care. I moved from home to home, never wanted, never stable. I had to fight for everything I have, every inch of it. She looked away for a moment, trying to pull herself together. I built my company to escape that life, but now someone inside it wants to tear everything apart. I didn't crash that night by accident. I was being followed. Eli stared at her, stunned. The calm CEO he saw in the news wasn't the whole story. Behind the strength was a woman who had been running, scared, and alone. He didn't know what to say. Ariana looked past him and saw Maya on the playground laughing with friends. The hard expression on her face slowly faded. Something warm, almost tender, took its place. She deserves more, she whispered. You both do. And for the first time, Eli felt something shift between them. Not just anger, not just confusion, but something deeper, something human. Something neither of them expected.
After the meeting at the school, Ariana did something that surprised everyone, including herself. She created a program called the Carter Fund. It was named after Eli, even though he never asked for it. The fund was designed to help single fathers in low-income communities, fathers who worked hard, struggled, and still tried to give their children a better life. When Ariana told Eli about it, he didn't know how to react. He felt overwhelmed, confused, and even suspicious. He was not used to anyone doing something big in his name. He had been invisible for most of his adult life. Ariana told him she wanted him to be an advisor for the fund. Eli said yes, but only with strict rules. No cameras, no news crews, no PR tricks. He made sure she understood that this was not about her image. It was about real people who needed real help. Ariana agreed, without hesitation. Soon they started visiting different families together. Eli took her into neighborhoods she had never seen before. Homes with broken doors, leaking roofs, empty fridges, and worn-out mothers trying to stay strong. Fathers doing everything they could just to keep their families afloat. Every place they visited affected Ariana deeply. She tried to hold her strong CEO posture, but Eli could see the change in her eyes. Her perfect mask began to crack. She listened to people's stories with genuine care. She asked questions, stayed longer than expected, and sometimes walked away quietly, as if she was thinking about her own life. During those visits, something else began to grow. A quiet feeling between Eli and Ariana. They didn't talk about it, they didn't show it openly, but it was there in the way she looked at him when he talked to people, in the way he softened whenever she spoke to Maya, and in the way they both seemed more comfortable when they were near each other. Ariana began to enjoy her time with them more than her time in her corporate world. With Eli and Maya, she could breathe, she could laugh, she could be human, and that scared her more than she wanted to admit. But while their connection grew, the danger around Ariana grew even faster. She started receiving threats. At first, small messages, then stronger ones. One morning, her security team found that the brake line on her company car had been cut for the second time. Her chief financial officer suddenly resigned without explanation. Documents appeared on her desk showing someone inside the company was trying to tear her down piece by piece. The pressure built up in her life like a storm she couldn't escape. Eli noticed one afternoon when she signed a stack of documents for the fund. Her hand trembled. She tried to hide it, but he saw. He didn't ask her about it, not yet, and she didn't tell him, not yet. But the silence between them carried a weight they both felt. Their worlds were tied together now by kindness, by danger, and by something neither of them dared to name. The night of the Carter Fund launch arrived faster than Eli expected. It was a big event, much bigger than anything he had ever been part of. Important guests filled the hall. Wealthy donors, business leaders, community workers. Everyone was dressed in their best clothes, excited to hear about the new program. When Ariana walked onto the stage, the room quieted at once. She stood tall, confident, elegant. But there was something softer in her eyes tonight, something real. She began her speech by talking about the purpose of the fund. She spoke about single fathers, about their struggles, about their strength. Then she paused and smiled gently. "And this fund," she said, "is named after a man who showed me what true integrity looks like." People leaned in, curious. "A man who saved my life and asked for nothing in return. Someone who reminded me that character is worth more than money. Please welcome Eli Carter." Eli froze. He had not expected this. His name echoed through the room, and people began to applaud. Maya clapped the loudest, almost jumping with excitement. Eli walked to the stage slowly, nervous but steady. Ariana handed him the microphone. He stared at her for a moment, almost asking silently why she didn't warn him. She only smiled, as if she wanted the moment to be honest. Eli cleared his throat and spoke. "I'm not used to this," he said. "I've fixed pipes, broken doors, and old wires. I'm not a man who gives speeches." Some people laughed softly, and he continued. "But being a father taught me something important. You don't need a lot of money to love your child. You don't need perfect things. You just need heart. You need patience. You need to believe that you can guide them, even when you're struggling yourself." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "I never thought my life mattered to anyone outside my home until someone showed me that kindness still counts, that doing the right thing still means something." The room was silent. Everyone listened. The words were simple, but full of truth, and that made them powerful. As Eli stepped back, a reporter called out loudly, breaking the calm. "Are you two together?" The room gasped. All eyes went to Ariana. She looked at Eli for a brief second, then answered with a small, bold smile. "Not yet." The crowd reacted at once. Shocked whispers, surprised laughter. Eli froze completely. Maya, on the other hand, smiled like she had known this all along. After the event backstage, the mood was quieter. Eli and Ariana stood close, still processing what had happened. Ariana reached into her purse and took out a small box. She said, "I have something for you," softly. Inside the box was a pen with his name engraved on it. Her words were simple but heavy with meaning. "For the man who didn't sell his kindness." Eli held the pen gently. It wasn't the gift that moved him, it was the message behind it. Their hands touched and stayed there a little longer than they should have. Neither of them pulled away.
But the moment broke when Ariana's security team rushed in. They whispered urgently to her. Someone had tried to access her encrypted financial files. Someone who shouldn't have access. Someone inside her company. Her face changed. Calm faded into fear she tried to hide. She said, "I have to go." She walked away quickly, leaving Eli standing there with the pen in his hand, confused, worried, and more connected to her than he ever meant to be. A full year passed after the night of the Carter Fund launch. Life changed in ways Eli could never have imagined. With quiet help from Ariana and with his own hard work, he now owned a small but successful shop called Carter Mechanics. It wasn't big, but it was honest, steady, and finally his. For the first time in years, Eli felt like he could breathe without fear. Maya's life changed too. She grew smarter, braver, and even more curious about the world. One afternoon, Eli received a letter from her school. Maya had earned a full STEM scholarship, the kind of opportunity that could change her future forever. He knew Maya worked for it, but he also knew Ariana had guided her, encouraged her, and believed in her in a way only a strong woman could. Through all of these months, Eli and Ariana became closer. Not rushed, not loud, just gentle moments that built trust slowly. They shared quiet talks, soft laughter, small smiles, and long pauses when neither of them wanted the moment to end. Ariana visited the shop often, sometimes for business, sometimes for Maya, and sometimes Eli knew simply to see him. She seemed calmer around him, like she could let down walls she carried everywhere else. Eli felt the same. When she was near, his life felt a little brighter, a little more steady. One evening, after a long day, Ariana came to the shop with a small envelope in her hand. She looked nervous in a way Eli had never seen before. Her voice was soft when she spoke. "Open it tomorrow," she said. "It's the bravest question I've ever asked." Eli didn't understand why she sounded afraid, but he took the envelope gently and promised he would open it. That night, after Maya fell asleep, Ariana stayed a little longer. The two of them stood close, talking in quiet voices about life, about the fund, about their year, and about how everything changed since the storm. The space between them grew warm. Their words slowed. Their eyes held one another. Then it finally happened. They kissed. A soft, slow, trembling kiss. A kiss full of a year's worth of emotion. A kiss that felt like a beginning and a confession all at once. Neither of them pulled away quickly. Neither of them wanted to. When Ariana left that night, Eli knew something had shifted forever. The next morning, with a nervous heart, Eli opened the envelope she left. Inside was a handwritten letter. Ariana's writing was clear and gentle. She asked him the question she had been holding in her heart. She asked him to marry her.
Eli felt his chest tighten with surprise, love, and disbelief. He read every word slowly, wanting to feel each one fully. But the envelope held more. There was a second paper, a warning. It showed a recent security report. It said the person who had been sabotaging Ariana's company had returned. The threat she feared was alive again. The proposal no longer felt simple. It held love, yes, but also danger. Her fear was now part of their future. Her battle was now connected to his life. Eli held both papers in his hands, the promise of love, and the shadow of danger following close behind. Everything was changing again, and he knew the next step would decide everything. The wedding was small, warm, and quiet. It took place in the backyard behind Eli's shop, surrounded by a few friends, neighbors, and people from the community who had grown to love them. There were no flashing lights, no reporters, no business partners, only the people who mattered. Maya stood proudly between Eli and Ariana, holding both their hands. She wore a simple white dress, and her smile was brighter than anything in the room. She looked at them as if she had been waiting for this moment her whole life. The vows came slowly, without notes or plans. Eli spoke from the heart, using words he never thought he would say. "You saved me too," he told Ariana. "Not with money, not with power. You saved me by seeing me, by believing in me, and by loving Maya the way she deserves." Ariana's eyes filled with quiet emotion. Her voice trembled as she answered her vows, speaking about trust, healing, and the strange, beautiful path that brought them together. They exchanged simple rings, no gold, no diamonds, just two bands that meant they were not alone anymore. When the ceremony ended, Eli and Ariana shared their first dance as husband and wife. Maya joined them halfway through, hugging them both, turning the dance into a circle of love. For a moment, everything felt safe, whole, and complete. A family formed not by luck, but by courage and choice. But peace has a way of hiding danger in its shadow. While the family danced, someone else was watching. A car was parked at the edge of the street, engine running quietly. The windows were tinted, and the driver did not step out. The figure stayed still, focused on the wedding. Their face could not be seen, but their presence held cold intention. Inside the car, a phone screen lit up. A single message appeared. Phase 2 begins. The driver let the message fade, then continued watching the wedding with quiet patience, as if waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The story ended on a quiet breath of hope mixed with danger. Love inside the yard, threat waiting outside. And now the questions begin. Who is watching them? What is Phase 2? Why was Ariana targeted in the first place? And what are they planning next? Will Eli's new family survive the storm that is coming? And what secret from Ariana's past is strong enough to follow her into her new life? The answers wait in the next chapter, and the danger is only getting started.